What if the person you trust most, the father of your children, is the most dangerous one in the room? Trigger warning. Viewers' discretion is advised. Welcome back to Katie Knows Crime. Today we are going to be discussing the case of the Watts family. Chris Watt was born May 16th, 1985, and he worked as a petroleum equipment operator in Frederick, Colorado. From the outside, he was presented as a beloved husband and father. But in later investigations, as well as his own confession, it had revealed a very different reality. Shanann Watts, born January 10th, 1984, was a social media influencer, as well as an independent marketing consultant for a brand known as Le Evel, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, which is a nutrition wellness company. Shanann was very active on social media. Obviously, that was a part of her job. She often shared family photos, vacation posts, and updates about her children's lives. At the time of Shannon's death, she was 15 weeks pregnant with her and Chris's third child, which was a boy. They had planned on naming him Nico Lee Watts. Bella Watts, their first child, was 4 years old, and Celeste Watts, which was their second child, obviously, was 3 years old. Both of these girls were described as vibrant, and they were often featured in their mother's social media posts, beloved by friends and family. Chris and Shanann had met in 2010, and 2 years later, in 2012, they had gotten married. They moved to Frederick, Colorado, where Chris had worked for Anadarko Petroleum, and Shanann had continued promoting wellness products and sharing her family content online. Even though they seemed like a happy family, their marriage was troubled in 2018. Shanann had even told her friends she had felt very disconnected from Chris. He had also begun an extramarital affair with a coworker by the name of Nicole Kessening, which he had hid from Shanann. August 13th, 2018, early in the morning, Shanann had returned home from a business trip with her daughters. They had continued living out a normal day until hours later, Chris had strangled Shanann to death in their home during an argument about their marriage and separation. After Chris had killed Shanann, he had then placed her body in his truck, and with the girls alive in the backseat, he drove them to a remote oil field work site where he had worked. At the site, he had then smothered Bella and Celeste and disposed of their bodies in separate oil tanks, while Shannon's body was buried in a shallow grave nearby. After the family was reported missing, Watts gave very inconsistent accounts, and he had also failed a polygraph test. He had initially claimed that Shanann had killed the children, which then led him to killing Shanann. This story, however, investigators had disproved. Watts had eventually confessed to the police and to his father that he had been the one to kill all three family members. The bodies of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were recovered from the oil-filled site. On November 6th, 2018, Watts had pled guilty to 9 different charges, including 3 counts of first-degree murder, the unlawful termination of Shannon's pregnancy, and tampering with deceased bodies. On November 19th, 2018, he was sentenced with 5 different life sentences without parole, 3 consecutive and 2 concurrent, plus additional years for other various counts. He was then transferred to Dodge Correctional Institution in Wisconsin due to security concerns. This case was a crazy and wild one to learn about. R.I.P. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. Let me know down below what other cases you would like me to cover. I'll see you in my next one.